and future-focused, but it somehow moves me to think back to my final days as an undergraduate in the mid-90s, specifically to the last column that I wrote while in college. It was crafted with ingenuous amazement about a technological advancement that I was certain would revolutionize correspondence: email. All of the students on campus had just received these fancy, kind of cryptic, electronic mail addresses from the university. They were assigned. Mine was jelks at famu.edu. So fancy. Administration, knowing us, warned us, now keep track of this new handle. You'll need it, and eventually you'll want it. It was how we would receive most of our information from the school in the future, where we'd be notified of tuition bills and overdue books, feedback from professors, and unpaid parking tickets. We could also use it, they said, for personal correspondence, as if I would use an electronic mail for personal correspondence. I thought that ridiculous. But the school was insistent and enthusiastic, encouraging us to trade in our calling card-funded long-distance calls for this quick way to keep in touch. And with a click of a button, that read send, we were propelled into the future Jetson style. It was the dawn of a new era. Now, it seems like a minor advancement, but at the time, it was a very big deal. It was a completely new paradigm, and almost more than I and my college friends could imagine. Now, fast forward 3 decades to now, a world whose college graduates may have never penned a letter on paper, much less dropped it in the mail. All they've ever known is email. We carry the internet around in our pockets and access the World Wide Web from the palms of our hands. Email? Try AI Conjugality introducing tonight's lecture. We've skipped paradigms and entered a whole new world. The promise of artificial intelligence, once intellectual fodder reserved for techies and readers of Scientific American, is a reality that now informs our everyday lives. Whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not, whether we understand it or not. It's here. It's authoring research papers and reading radiology reports. Its power is palpable, and its place in our world, nation, and community is beyond debate.
So I'm also on faculty where I oversee all of our AI work. And how those two kind of came to be was ChatGPT came out at the end of 2022. You may remember there was a lot of buzz about this new tool that could write you a poem, it could write you a paper, eventually it could create an image of anything you asked it for. So my first thought was, I gotta create a fake news site. So I generated 20 or 30 fake news sites within a few minutes, complete with fake reporters, bylines, images of their headshots, articles, and I put them online briefly. And so I did that, and I was very concerned. So obviously at the beginning, I was trying to tell people, like, listen, I'm scared of this technology. Eventually, a newsroom came to Pointer and said, hey, we heard about this new thing called ChatGPT.
We went through 25 different commercial platforms to see if any of them crosses the 4 checklists: the privacy, free access, AI tools ready for teachers, and providing training. ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, we went through 26, 27 of them, and none of them satisfied every single checkbox right there. So we wrote the paper, and then we ended up thinking, is there any way we can do something that crosses all those 4 checkboxes?
Advantage of it, running with it, and there was a lot of founders that were like, hey, we want to do sessions on this, and actually my CTO, Chris.
Make sure the initiative projects we develop can apply into many use cases. So in this way, we save the investment for our companies, but we are also making sure we are contributing to the sustainability of the environment.
Prompting. So prompting is the art of asking a question to the chatbot in an effective way so you get what you want out of it. So
today, the healthcare piece that's the most popular is something called ambient clinical dictation. And it's booming. And basically what that means is that when you go have your annual physical, the only thing between you and the doctor is the doctor's smartphone. And the doctor's smartphone has an app on it that listens to the whole discussion and then it removes extraneous information and prepares a doctor's note for review by the doctor, and it goes immediately into the electronic health record. Doctors like it because they do their dictation at the end of the day when they're tired, and patients like it because it's a straightforward relationship with the doctor. The only thing between you and the doctor is the smartphone. So it's called ambient clinical dictation. And I suspect some of you have had that experience with your own healthcare, but I can assure you that you will continue to have it much more frequently in the future.
Which leads to a lot of issues that we will talk about. So I do want to start with education, because I think that's where we are seeing a big upheaval right now. This technology has advanced learning, but it's also made it very difficult for teachers who are concerned about their students cheating. So I'm going to throw it to you first, Zafer. For maybe parents in our audience with young children, or those who have family members who have young kids, what, with the advancements in generative AI, is middle school going to look like in 5 years?
Well, 5 years in the world of AI is a very, very long time. About a year ago, we were doing things that completely different now. But as an educator for the last 25 years, I will tell you one thing, that it will not be a science fiction. You will not see a bunch of robots in the classroom taking over the classroom without the teachers and controlling everything. That's all movies and everything.
To what we call vibe coding or software composition, and he's that type of person that you would want to, have these workshops and just be like, hey, everybody sit down and let's talk about it. Let's teach you how to prompt. Let's teach you how to work with these LLMs, because ultimately that's how you're going to be successful with any of these applications, is being able to prompt. And in the tech startup ecosystem here, founders love it, and the development community is also warming up to it, because that's one of the issues that we learned was, I've had people come to me and say, hey Martika, I'm in college, I'm a CS student, am I going to not have a job because of AI? And I could not stress more that that is further from the truth, because guess what? More jobs just got created. All of these folks that had that back of napkin and idea that they weren't going to build it now have the courage to want to build something.
Yeah, so good question. So some people say what we are having now is a paradigm shift, or is a transformation. Actually, whether it be a paradigm shift or transformation in human history, AI is new, but it's not something we have not seen. We have seen many, many revolutions in the past, and enterprises and humanities and communities have gone through those transformations many, many times. So it is new, but it is not unfamiliar. In enterprises, there are a lot of, actually, probably 5 years ago, we had already started utilizing AI, but we are now limiting our conversation to generative AI. So, I'm going to only address generative AI. Much easier for people to utilize. And since then, every step of the way, in the past 3 years almost, generative AI has really surprised us. We thought about chatbot 1 year, and the second year we are starting to use agentic AI, which is a form of utilizing generative AI technologies. And now we are starting to utilize agentic AI to replace some of the repetitive works that people have to do. And of course, over the last 3 years, there is a lot of ups and downs we had. We found the values, we found the ways that we can implement the technology to bring business and customer values. We also have a lot of lessons learned.
It's getting incredibly easy to create very realistic looking scams. So, John, I want to talk to you about your work on this side of the coin. And I mean, what are you doing? What is the cybersecurity industry doing to stay ahead of what the bad actors in the AI world are unleashing on everyone's Facebook feed here?
Yeah, probably unsurprisingly, the way to counter the flood of attacks that are now enabled and made possible by the current wave of AI is by using AI, right? Maybe that's not surprising, but you know, if you can have the bad guys create fake content at a rate that's faster than they ever could before, and they can do it more realistically than ever before, then you need something that can keep up. And most times human beings can't.